Macho Man has arrived. Welcome into Fantasy Baseball today on Tuesday, September 16th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White and Chris Towers today on the show.
Is that what they're calling him? Or
yeah, can you explain that one?
I haven't heard anyone else call it. Okay. Called Trey Yesavage that, but I am a huge Macho Man fan, so it just felt like it made sense with the Savage in the last name and everything.
Yeah, you're talking about Trey Yesavage. So Chris and I looked perplexed when you said that.
Well, no, I completely forgot that the Macho Man is not his legal name. That's on me. I forgot that his legal name is Randy Savage. So
that's not his.
I was extremely
that's not his legal name either.
I don't think that's his legal name.
What? What do you mean? His name is Randy Savage. They can't call him that if his name's not Randy Savage. That's his name.
I don't think you're being sincere right now, so
it's
I'm not
called
going
kayfabe.
to answer.
For the purpose of this exercise, yes, his name was Randy Savage. Trey Yesavage looked awesome in his debut, and so I am dubbing him the Macho Man. Okay. We have another Yordan Alvarez injury, unfortunately. What has happened to Elly De La Cruz? And bit of a light night here. I have Fantasy Feud.
Woo! Yes.
Yes. Let's do it.
I'm going to lose. I don't know if I've ever won Fantasy Feud.
Let's jump in.
Is this happening? It is.
All right. Trey Yesavage is happening. Scott, you are up.
All right. Let's talk about it. Trey Yesavage had the sort of debut pitchers dream of. The sort of debut I hoped we would have gotten from Jonah Tong, actually. But it turned out Trey Yesavage was the one to do it at Tampa Bay. 1 earned run in 5 innings, 9 strikeouts, total of 5 base runners in those 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 walks. But the 9 strikeouts, and even more impressive than that, 19 whiffs on just 69 pitches. That's a 28% swinging strike rate, which of course is unsustainable, but like even half of that swinging strike rate would rank among like the top 5 pitchers in baseball. So that's the kind of swinging strike rate Yesavage was putting up in his first career start. Of the 19 whiffs, 11 came on the splitter, 4 each on the fastball and slider. But that splitter just seems like a ridiculous pitch for him. He has that extreme high arm angle, which actually was one of the reasons I wasn't sure whether we should take the minor league numbers at face value, the big strikeout rates there, because Jonah Tong also ran a very high strikeout rate with a very high arm slot. And we haven't seen the fastball getting nearly as many whiffs in the majors so far as it was in the minors. But Yesavage has that great splitter, and that's part of the difference, I think. So I did not like the idea of starting Trey Yesavage. Even in theory, he was lining up for 2 starts, but they weren't promising he'd get a start after this one.
I think he has to.
He has to now, right? It was so impressive that I think we can confidently say, okay, they're going to keep him in the rotation at least for 1 more start, if not 2. Each of the last 2 turns to close out the season here for Trey Yesavage. The next one would line up at Kansas City. There aren't many pitcher matchups better than that one. So I think if you play in a daily league, it's not too late, apparently, for Trey Yesavage to continue contribute to your fantasy team, because I now like him for that start.
Scott, would you say this is a May Yesavage culpa?
Sure, we could call it that. It's the sort of thing where, like, yeah, I mean, he's big prospect, had huge strikeout numbers in the minors. So, of course, this was always a possibility. But did I reason incorrectly that you couldn't start him given the circumstances? I don't think I reasoned incorrectly. He just did the best he was capable of doing. And so, of course, you would have liked to have that in retrospect. So anyway, he gets the Royals later this week. Trey Yesavage, I think, absolutely worth using in daily leagues for that. And if he comes through in that and and the Blue Jays decide to give him another turn, his final start would line up against these same Rays in Toronto next time. So, no, there's a possibility you're just leaving Yesavage in your lineup the rest of the way, depending how that Kansas City start goes.
I was talking to someone during Kevin Gosman's last start about the Blue Jays playoff rotation and how like they don't have a bad rotation, but it feels like they're short on impact arms. And like Gosman has been pitching like one for the last 3 months. So like there's your number one. Bieber has shown flashes of it, but not consistently enough so far. I think Bieber and Bassett and Barrios, that's a lot of B's, they're fine, but I don't know if you want them starting, a big game if you can avoid it. And like, I don't know what Yesavage has shown in his first start. It's only one start, but if he keeps pitching like this the next couple, Blue Jays look a lot scarier in the postseason, even if it's just, he's a multi-inning relief ace. I think that's looks like a real potential weapon for them. So that's super fun as well.
And good luck keeping Max Scherzer off the mound in the postseason too. He's been a little bit shakier here, but I kind of feel like this is why you bring him in, right? It's big games and in the postseason, and you've got all that experience and everything.
Scott, you know it. What was what's the guy's name in Angels in the Outfield? The guy
Which
with
guy?
the old guy. Not the old guy.
Oh, Mel Clark.
Yeah, like didn't you used to be Mel Clark?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about Max Scherzer. Like he's not bad, but he's definitely more in the Bassett Barrios grouping than a true impact arm, I think, at this point.
Yeah, I would
like
agree
he's
with that completely.
43 years old or whatever. That's not a knock against him.
I don't think he's going to be throwing 156 pitches in a playoff game.
Probably not. That was irresponsible even back then. Man, that's a messed up storyline. They're just like, he's dying. It's fine. Okay. He can throw as many pitches as he wants.
It really
that's a
really
crazy thing.
I was it just an anti-smoking message? Was that the only reason they put that in?
You know what? It really worked on me.
It's such a bummer. It's such a bummer at that point in the movie.
That is a crazy thing to add in a children's movie.
Yeah.
Last thing on Trey Yesavage, anyone asking if you should pick him up and use him the rest of the way, the answer to that is definitively.
Oh, yeah!
Sorry, I had to get that in there.
You have
All right,
to.
Chris, let's go over to you for your player of the night.
Sal Stewart. He's got 4 home runs in, I think, 11 games so far. He hit his 4th on Monday, 3 runs, 2 RBI, going 3 for 5. It's back-to-back games. It's 4 homers in his past 8 games. 919 OPS. He hasn't walked at all, but he's crushing the ball. 94 mile per hour average exit velocity, a ton of line drives, a ton of hard hit balls in the air. And I mean, go pick him up for fantasy because I think he just has to play every day for the Reds. He's first base and second base eligible. And the other thing I keep thinking about is the Reds might have blown it waiting as long as they did to call him up, man. Like, they were getting nothing from third base for almost the entire season. They were getting, like, replacement-level production from Matt McClain. This dude's been awesome all year. Now he looks like he belongs. They're going to miss the playoffs by a game or two maybe, and that might have been the difference right there. That's a bummer for Reds fans that they did not call this dude up until September.
It was a pretty aggressive timeline, all things considered. 21 years old, didn't begin the year at AAA. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think Sal Stewart blew away everybody's expectations this year and ultimately did get the call. I wish he was playing more third base so he could be eligible there next year.
Look like it, yeah.
And maybe that's to come. Just because he's playing first base now doesn't mean it'll be forevermore. But that is the one frustration with Sal Stewart's performance. Can you I can't shake this thought. Like, can you imagine how devastated that Angels team, the entire fan base would be when this resurgent pitcher who single-handedly pitches them from last place into playoff contention, and then he dies that offseason. Like that, they just gloss over that. It won't be the most devastating.
It's a real
thing.
bummer. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was crushed.
Yeah, in the moment.
I had no idea.
Even he got over it kind of quickly, right?
I had no idea what you were talking about for a second. You went straight from Sal Stewart to talking about an Angels pitcher dying. What?
Angels in the outfield. I'm sorry.
Angels in the outfield. Mel Clark, Tony Danza, I believe, is playing him. One of the few roles I feel like where Tony Danza isn't playing a guy named Tony. That happened a lot. Yeah, weird storyline that I had never heard of or never thought about until just now.
Pretty sure that I've seen that movie at some point in my life when I was younger, but I have no recollection. So I need to now
It's
watch it as
crazy
I think it is the most emotionally resonant of the mid-90s kids in baseball movies.
The thing for me
that,
is just
that plot point at the end is just ridiculous.
Crazy stacked cast. You got Academy Award winner Matthew McConaughey in center field. I think Academy Award winner Adrian Brody at shortstop. That's 2-time Academy Award winner Adrian Brody. His dad is Kyle MacLachlan, I think, or someone like that. It's like a stacked for no reason cast. Although most of those guys are pre-fame. Anyway,
Sal Stewart.
I'll stop derailing this for Angels in the outfield. I'm sorry.
My player of the night is Emmet Sheehan, who pitched very well as the bulk reliever here against the Phillies. Tough matchup. 5 2/3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 7 strikeouts to 3 walks, had 13 whiffs on 94 pitches here. His velocity was actually down across the board. I don't know if it was coming into this game as a reliever. Maybe that affected him some way, somehow, but something to watch for his next start. Obviously, it didn't affect how good he was in this one. He leaned on his fastball. That was a good pitch for him. Had 7 of his 13 whiffs on that pitch. And he does get whiffs on that pitch, but he also gives up a lot of hard contact usually. The slider and changeup are just really, really great pitches here for Emmet Sheehan. So, I mean, look, just talking about him and Sal Stewart, Sheehan has done this for longer, and we've seen him in previous years. I think these are 2 names that will kind of carry over into next year, as I think
for sure
exciting sleeper, late round target guys. But for, I guess, the rest of this year, Sheehan trying to project when he's going to pitch again, I couldn't tell you that. They have 7 games this week. He pitched here on Monday, so I assume we'll see him again against the Giants later in the week. Can't say that.
So.
And then in the final week, he would probably pitch at the Mariners.
I would use him in both.
Yeah, he's 62% rostered. So, I mean, for anyone still playing at this point, shallower leagues, he's looked really good. His last 4 games, a 1.48 ERA, 0.74 WHIP, 32 strikeouts over 24 1/3 for Emmet Sheehan.
And he's positioning himself to be like one of the trendiest. I don't even know that I could call him a sleeper pick because I don't think anybody's going to be sleeping on him. But one of the trendiest breakout picks for next year, Emmet Sheehan, to the point that he'll probably be overdrafted, and I won't end up with any shares of him. But this has been a long time coming. He's been a higher order of bat misser, dating back to the 2023 season in the minors. And then, of course, he got sidetracked by Tommy John surgery. When he first came back, he wasn't quite missing bats at that same rate, but he's turned it around. He's really showing the extent of his upside. Emmet Sheehan.
The only thing is, if Clayton Kershaw comes back next season and Roki Sasaki is ready for the start of the season,
they're gonna give Sheehan a spot over Sasaki.
I assume, but I don't know. Roki Sasaki was such a big deal. You just don't know how the personalities involved are going to work. I assume, and I certainly hope that Emmet Sheehan's going to be in the rotation next year. It's just, for as good as he's been, it's less of a guarantee than it probably should be just because of the team he pitches for.
And he won't often be a 2-start pitcher because they go 6-man with Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is also a rotation that features a lot of injury-prone pitchers, and so obviously that can open things up. But it's a fair point that you bring up, Chris. I think just based on the skills and the talent that we've seen here, Sheehan deserves to be an exciting player to draft next season. But we do have to learn more in the offseason, I guess.
I also just want to point out that we should not discount the degree of difficulty in his start today because he followed an opener. Anthony Banda opened the game, and the assumption is Anthony Banda is going to pitch the first inning. They have a bunch of lefties at the top of the order. Well, he strikes out the first guy, gives up a home run to Kyle Schwarber, walks Bryce Harper. Emmet Sheehan comes in with a runner on base and gets out of that and ends up going almost 6 innings. So that's also just speaks to the degree of difficulty of what he had to do, coming in mid-inning cold with a runner on base and still pitching as well as he did. It was very impressive.
All right, before we hit our first break, just want to let people know if we helped you win your championship this year, if it's already done or in the process once the season is over, send us those screenshots, tweet at us, email them in. If you want to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify, let us know how we helped you win a championship in the review. Bosses like that kind of stuff, and we appreciate it. So, make sure to send those things in. And big thanks to those watching live. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Let's take that break, and we'll be back right after this.
You can't count on Derek's tong skills.
Oh, Tony, I think it hit the ground.
But you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount+.
Back in fantasy baseball today, news and notes. Yordan Alvarez just cannot catch a break. He left Monday's game with a left ankle sprain. He suffered it after slipping across home plate, and then his ankle actually touched the ground. His foot and ankle were a right angle. It looked disgusting. And my guess is this probably is not going to go very well here for Yordan Alvarez. He's scheduled for an MRI on Tuesday. We'll learn more about it. Obviously, it's been an injury-riddled season all year for Yordan Alvarez. I guess the one glimmer here, Scott, is that your guy, Zach Cole, could be in line for more playing time.
And he came off the bench. He had a home run. He also had a 112-mile-per-hour ground out, showing the
3 batted balls over 103 miles per hour.
Yeah. So if he makes enough contact, Zach Cole is going to be good, but that's a big if.
Next up, Wilson Contreras left Monday's game due to right biceps tightness. Trey Turner went through a full workout in Philadelphia on Monday. He's working his way back from a grade 1 right hamstring strain. Sounds like maybe he could be back for the final week of the season. And speaking of the Phillies, they just wrapped up that game and they have officially clinched the NL East. So shout out to the Phillies. Bo Bichette is receiving a second opinion on his injured left knee. The initial diagnosis was a sprained PCL. Jose Altuve was back in the lineup after missing Sunday with foot soreness. Marcus Semien was spotted taking batting practice on the field Monday. He's currently on the IL with a broken left foot that he suffered in late August. Corey Seager did some light jogging on Monday. He underwent an appendectomy on August 28th. Jordan Westburg will be activated on Tuesday. He's coming back from an ankle sprain. Adley Rutschman will start his rehab assignment at AAA on Tuesday. Xander Bogaerts is gearing up to return in the final week of the season. He went on the IL in late August with a fracture in his left foot. Max Muncy of the Dodgers returns to the lineup after missing Sunday's game. He was hit by pitches on both Friday and Saturday, and he promptly hit a home run off of Ranger Suarez in this game. So if you had him and saw him in the lineup, I hope you used him because 1-for-1. Good game here for Max Muncy. Red Sox pitcher news. Connolly Early will start on Tuesday against the A's, and it sounds like the plan for Peyton Tolley is for him to be used as a bulk reliever the rest of the season. His last start, he only threw 2 innings, so perhaps he's just a multi-inning reliever from here on out. Still an exciting player for the future and for next year. I just don't think Peyton Tolley will have much fantasy value for the rest of this season. Spencer Steer was scratched from the lineup with neck spasms. Brian Hayes took his place. Anthony Santander will remain on his rehab assignment through at least Thursday. He's been out since late May with a subluxation of his left shoulder. I'm not sure how much he will contribute or even how healthy he is. I think he's 3 for 13 with a homer on his rehab assignment, but it's pretty crazy to think about what the Blue Jays have done, and they are missing their prized acquisition from the offseason. So
yeah, I mean, well, they got the George Springer they thought they were getting 4 years ago when they signed him, so that worked out nicely to make up for it.
Big bounce back from Bo Bichette.
Yep.
They definitely have room in their outfield for Santander if they feel like he's ready to play every day. How much can you trust him? Well, I suppose it's possible if he comes back Friday, has a huge weekend with a couple of homers, then maybe we would consider using him in a 5 outfielder league for that final week of the season. But it's not the most probable outcome, I would say.
Jonathan Aranda is scheduled to take live batting practice this week. He's working his way back from a fractured left wrist. Mason Wynn is expected to undergo arthroscopic knee surgery within the next 2 weeks to repair a torn meniscus. Jason Adam is expected to miss to need 6 to 9 months of recovery after he underwent surgery to address a ruptured left quad tendon. Dean Kramer has been cleared to start Tuesday against the White Sox. He's been dealing with forearm discomfort, and D-backs reliever Andrew Saalfrank is dealing with left shoulder fatigue. He's kind of been in the mix for saves and late inning situations there for the D-backs, but their whole bullpen is kind of a mess. And don't look now. I think they're one game out of a playoff spot as well. So between the D-backs, Giants, Reds, they're all, I think, a game or two out of the last wildcard spot, and the Mets are free falling. So this NL wildcard race has really, really heated up here, and will be very entertaining over the final 2 weeks of the season. Speaking of those Reds, we're getting lots of questions about Elly De La Cruz, and rightfully so. More so about, all right, what do we think about him for next season, and what has gone wrong? He has not hit a homer since July 31st. He was dropped to 7th in the Reds lineup here on Monday. He went 1 for 3 with 2 walks in this game. But since the start of August, this is now a 40-game stretch. He's hitting .208, 0 homers, 17 runs, 10 RBI, 6 steals, an OPS that is below 600. Lots of ground balls, only 5 barrels during that stretch. It's a 4.4% barrel rate. Apparently, he's been dealing with a quad injury for much of the season. And he's also seeing more off-speed pitches this year, and he just is not nearly as good against those as he is against fastballs. So what do you take from this? I mean, how do you feel about Elly De La Cruz? Where do you think he'll be drafted next year? What has happened?
He's not healthy.
It's probably
I don't think it's any more complicated than that. And if you don't believe it based on the way he's performed at the plate, well, he's got 35 steals after stealing 67 last season. And if you don't believe that's evidence that he's hurt, he's gone from one of the very best defensive shortstops in baseball, last season 98th percentile in outs above average, according to StatCast, to 11th percentile this season. His sprint speed has gone from 100th percentile, he was the fastest man in baseball last year, to 90th percentile. Still very fast, but every single thing that you could possibly look at shows that Elly De La Cruz has not been the same guy as last season. And so it's either he is 23 years old and he's just finished, or he's playing hurt. And I think he's just playing hurt. And look, there
are other outcomes than those two.
I think based on the evidence, he's hurt.
You're probably right. You're probably
He's
right.
hurt.
That's what it is.
And he has 1 home run in his last 313 plate appearances.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is that this is not a guy with a huge margin for error as a hitter. Like, I think because his approach is still so raw and still so flawed, he has to be a supernatural physical talent to be an impact player. And playing at less than 100% is going to make it harder to do that. And I think that's just what it is that he just doesn't have a lot of ways that things can go right if he's not at 100%. And if you want to look at that from a 2026 perspective and say, other guys Francisco Lindor played through that toe injury earlier this season. He's still going to end up with 30-30. He's still going to end up with a huge season. He's still going to end up putting up more or less the same numbers. If you want to make the argument that, hey, Elly De La Cruz can't do that when he's less than 100%, I guess that's a reason to fade him, but I don't really see much reason to view Elly De La Cruz any differently right now than you did at the start of the season.
Well, I think it's also important to keep in mind first half of the year. Like, it's easy to fixate on the second half numbers, but first half, it looks like Elly De La Cruz had taken a big step forward as a hitter. His strikeout rate was below 25%. I think he hit 284 for the first half. He was a plus in batting average. So, I mean, long story short, he's going to be drafted later next year than he was this year, but I still have him 12th. So I still have him rounding out the first round for Roto Leagues next year. I just put together my top 24, subject to change, obviously. It'll probably change many times between now and March. But right now, Elly De La Cruz is 12th for me.
Yeah, I I've not drafted a lot of Elly De La Cruz the last couple of seasons, and if he's going to fall to the back half of the first round or first half of the second round, I'm going to draft a lot of Elly De La Cruz next season because that feels like a nice value to be able to get for a guy that was a top 4 pick in most drafts this year. Yeah, I'll take that.
Roto.
Yeah,
I think mostly NFBC he was top 4.
Yeah, like a top.
He wasn't far off from that.
In category leagues, he was a top 6 player drafted.
Yeah,
pretty consistently. I guess the other outcome here, Chris, which you didn't mention, is that he's just really shrieky, and maybe he's just been slumping in the second half for a really long time. But I think it's more likely that this quad has kind of derailed his season. You pointed out the defensive metrics that have come down, the speed has come down. I think there are still obviously warts in his game. He's still really, really bad against lefties, right? And that's, I don't know if maybe he should just kind of switch hitting or whatever it might be. That's probably not going to happen. But in his career, it's a 219 batting average with a 605 OPS. I think that's always kind of going to limit his overall upside, at least in terms of batting average and on base and OPS and things like that. But when he's right, I mean, I think he still has the talent to steal 50 plus bases and hit 25 plus home runs. I think it's more likely than not this injury has really just kind of derailed Elly De La Cruz's season. Let's take a look at some waiver wire hitters here for the final 2 weeks. Can any of these names make an impact? Scott, Drake Baldwin off to a nice start here as one of your sleeper hitters, 3 for 5 with his 16th home run, 4 RBI. He was having a rough September before this one, but the underlying numbers remain amazing for Baldwin. There's no Sean Murphy there. He's playing almost every single day. So in one catcher leagues, if you still need a name, Drake Baldwin is there. Chris, we were talking beforehand, and you have just finished ranking your top 12 catchers very early for next season.
I did like top 20. I did top 30, I think.
Where did Drake Baldwin kind of come in there? 10,
but that's sort of hedging on the Sean Murphy of it all, or the Marcell Ozuna of it all, I guess. If they, I think it's going to come down to how many does he have a chance to play 5 days a week? And if he does, I think there is a big group after Cal Raleigh with probably William Contreras in his own like mini tier, but then Hunter Goodman, Shea Langoliers, Will Smith. I think Ben Rice could be in there. I think Agustin Ramirez could be in there. I think maybe even Salvador Perez. Like I think those guys could all kind of be in the same tier. And Drake Baldwin, I think, is clearly in that tier. And it's just a question of no Sean Murphy. They just get, I don't know, Travis d'Arnaud or something. If they just trade for him, I don't know. That's the first name I thought of. Then it's like, okay, Drake Baldwin, top 5 catcher maybe. If it's the status quo, Marcell Ozuna's back at DH or someone else good at DH and Sean Murphy's still the number 2 catcher, then I think Baldwin's more of a fringe number 1 catcher. But clearly, I think there's no talent reason he can't be in that first group.
Yeah, agreed across the board. A couple names here in deeper leagues. Austin Martin had a nice game with the Twins, 1 for 4 with 4 RBI and 2 steals. He has started 8 straight and having a nice September, hitting 326 with an 871 OPS. It's just kind of empty. There's no homers there. There's no power at all, but he has 8 steals in 40 games. So in deeper leagues, if you're looking for speed, Austin Martin is a name. We brought up Zach Cole, who came off the bench for Alvarez and went 2 for 3 with his second home run. And Dalen Lyle continues to impress, 2 for 3 with his 6th homer. He's up to a 292 batting average, 6 homers, 8 steals, 814 OPS in 80 games played so far. Scott, any thoughts on these deep league names here? Austin Martin, Zach Cole, we already kind of talked about, and Dalen Lyle.
Yeah, Dalen Lyle might be a little better than deep league. He kind of reminds me of Isaac Collins back when he was mattering in 5 outfielder leagues, and he's kind of cooled off. I don't think Dalen Lyle has huge upside, but he's doing a lot of things right. He's hitting the ball reasonably hard. He's striking out on only a 16% rate. That's very good. He has 91st percentile sprint speed and is swiping bags. He's got a ton of triples. I mean, did you give his second half numbers, Dalen Lyle?
I just gave out his full season numbers.
Okay, second half, 329 batting average, 4 homers, 8 triples, 9 doubles, and 5 steals. So in leagues where triples count, he matters even more. It's top 60-ish type outfielder probably. Not much higher than that. So it'd have to be a 5 outfielder league or such a deep league. However deep it needs to be to go that deep into the outfield. But he's kind of interesting, Dalen Lyle.
All right, let's take our final break. When we return, I have a few waiver wire pitchers. What do the matchups look like for the rest of this week and next week? We'll talk about that right after this.
The crowd loves champions. Gladiator 2 is an epic spectacle. To amuse you is my only wish.
The glory is yours, not mine.
Very good. Gladiator 2, rated R, now streaming on Paramount+.
Do any of these waiver wire pitchers matter over the final 2 weeks of the season? Jameson Taillon, a strong start at the Pirates, 6 shutout innings with 3 strikeouts. He is at the Reds later this week and gets the Cardinals next week. So it's not an exciting play, but the Cardinals have been pretty bad in the second half. I do realize they just got Brendan Donovan back and Nolan Arenado, so they're probably not going to strike out as much with those two in there. But Taillon against the Cardinals next week, yeah, maybe it could be.
I mean, the time to start him was against the Pirates.
Yeah.
He was among my sleeper pitchers for this week because he lined up for 2 starts, the first against the Pirates. And so far, so good. But if you couldn't bring yourself to start Taillon in that game, I don't see why you would do it in the next 2 games.
He's already 73% rostered. Hard to conceive that should be much higher.
Yeah. Matthew Liberatore turned in a quality start against the Reds, 6 innings, 2 earned runs with 6 strikeouts to 1 walk, but he has not been very good here in the second half. His first 17 starts, Liberatore, 3.70 ERA, 1.18 whip. His next 11 starts, 5.47 ERA, 1.56 whip. So can't imagine anybody is using Liberatore at this point.
This was his first 6-inning start since June, I believe.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I think it's fine to ignore it.
Not using him against the Brewers later this week, no.
Yeah, Brewers later this week and then at the Cubs next week.
Yeah,
so
no, thank you.
Don't think so on Liberatore. Joe Boyle, great start here against the Blue Jays. 6 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts, 0 walks through 68% of his pitches for strikes. That is the key. How consistently can he do it? Clearly hasn't been able to do that enough, but had 11 whiffs on 78 pitches. He's 17% rostered. I'm not even sure he'll stick around in the rotation. But, Scott, you look like you want to talk about Joe Boyle.
I do. I mean, I like Joe Boyle, and we've been down this road a few times before, so maybe it'll just never work out. But this was he went up against Trey Yesavage, so the start was obviously overshadowed, but in some ways it was just as impressive with all the strike throwing. He threw his fastball less. And I wondered if that helped with the strike throwing, if that's something the Rays have worked on with him. Interestingly enough, his 3 starts back in the minors after flopping in his latest stint, the control was terrible. It was actually much worse than it had been during all his time in the minors before then. So it didn't seem like Joe Boyle was making progress, but if they give him another turn or 2 to close out the season here, I'm definitely going to be interested in seeing how it goes for Joe Boyle, because he could position himself as a sleeper for next year. He has a ton of strikeout upside if he could just get the control figured out.
Yeah, so it's more so a scouting for next year. We're not really looking to use Joe Boyle for the rest of this season. Probably the same for Simeon Woods Richardson, who just had the best start of his career against the Yankees. 6 shutout innings with 11 strikeouts, had 16 whiffs on 92 pitches, completely changed his pitch mix in this start as well. He led with the splitter through it 35% of the time. Entering the start, it was just 6.5%. Yeah. So
he's been emphasized. Simeon Woods Richardson has really been ramping up that splitter usage since returning from his IL stint for a stomach illness, I believe it was. It basically was non-existent until these 4 starts back, and this was by far the most he's thrown it and got a great result with 11 strikeouts. So it's another situation where I can't imagine using Woods Richardson right now, but let's see if this goes somewhere. over these final 2 weeks if he has another start like this on the back of that splitter.
Woods Richardson looks like he faces the Guardians later this week and then at the Phillies next week. So do not think we're going to plan to use him even in deeper leagues against the Phillies next week.
He does have like a 3 ERA at home, might be a sub 3 ERA at home now compared to like almost 6 on the road. So I don't know. He's home in his next start at least. So
the Phillies
if you believe in that.
The Phillies one is on the road next week.
Yeah, I mean, look, that might be a skeleton crew lineup for them by that point, but I mean, it's not like the splitter's been like a great swing and miss pitch. It's generated a lot of weak contact, but I don't see a good explanation for why he had an 11 strikeout start here, at least not one that I imagine will count moving forward.
I think the pitch mix is, pretty substantial for him, but even with that, it's the slider and splitter are his 2 best pitches. Neither of them have a whiff rate over 27%. So it's not like he has a ton of swing and miss in his game.
He did get all those whiffs against the Angels with the fastball a few turns ago. He's one of those pitchers.
Well, I got a bunch of whiffs against the Angels with my
that's
fastball.
true. How hard do you think you throw nowadays, Chris? You think you're pumping like a 65 mile per hour fastball?
I think with like a crow hop, I could get to like 72.
All right, that's probably better than me, man. I've got like a messed up shoulder. It's not going to work.
I would be impressed if you got to 72.
I think I did it at a Cyclones game last summer, like just out of the stretch, and I think I got to like low 60s. So I feel like a running start, I could hit 70. I might, need to take several months off immediately after that, but
I mean, it's
get some Dippin' Dots to cool it down.
For the layman, who obviously hasn't been building up his arm, that's like 70 is impressive.
Well,
I don't think anybody should be ashamed of that.
This is one of those things where it's like, you have no idea how hard major leaguers throw. You might think you do, but like when I play softball, I've usually got one of like the 3 best arms on my team, and I'm not within 30 miles per hour of major leaguers. Like it's just they're a different species.
Yeah, I went to a batting cage a couple of years ago, and I think I put on 80 miles per hour just to see how fast it was. I had no chance.
Yeah.
No chance at all. It was not close.
There was a great video the other day of someone batting against Trevor May, who is retired now.
Yeah.
And by the end, Trevor May's like, I'm throwing you a changeup. And the guy had no chance. And this is like a decently in shape guy who plays like amateur adult baseball every week. And he had 0 chance. Like this guy was in good shape. So yeah, no, those guys are doing a whole different world, it turns out.
Zach Gallen back from the dead. Too little, too late, most likely. But a strong start here against the Giants. 6 innings of 1-run ball with 6 strikeouts. Had 12 whiffs on 96 pitches. He emphasized the changeup, and it was very good for him in this one. Last 9 starts, a 2.68 ERA, 101 whip. Strikeouts are down, but doing a much better job limiting walks and hard contact. I don't know that it matters much for the rest of this season, but I guess he's a free agent. We'll see where he lands. And, he's finishing very strong after an abysmal first 4 months of the year.
Yeah, I have no idea what to make of him next season, but it is better that he's doing this than not. This being pitching well for once this season, but I can't imagine there's anything he could do over the next 2 starts that would convince me to make him a top 40 starting pitcher.
I don't even think top 50, to be honest.
I think he should be treated sort of like we've treated Michael Wacha the past couple of years. So maybe top 75, top 80 for Zach Gallen, just like a late round innings eater. And, he has a history that could allow him to exceed that, of course, but I don't think that's a fair expectation. And I think there will be enough more exciting pitchers to draft ahead of him.
And you have to consider this is not just a 1-year phenomenon. He was pretty mediocre in the second half of last season too.
Yeah. So I think most people, myself included, thought it was kind of just related to that hamstring injury last season. I
definitely did.
And then, he comes out this year, and again, the first 4 months were he was unusable. I think he had an ERA over like 550 for the first.
And what do you have, that 14 strikeout game against the Yankees it was?
Yeah, and then everything just went downhill after that. Spencer Strider had his best start in a while here. He went 7 innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts with 15 whiffs on 96 pitches. That was at the Washington Nationals. Did some things a little bit differently here as well. And he's at the Tigers later this week, we think. And next week lines up for the Pirates. So I think we're going to be using Spencer Strider in the final week of the season if you made it this far with him on your team.
They've got a spot start coming up for the doubleheader tomorrow, so it's possible Spencer Strider's 2-start status gets pushed back again.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, no, he's last 4 starts, 2.52 ERA. He's been emphasizing this curveball more. 6 straight with its percentage usage in double digits, and this was the highest yet for the curveball at 23% usage. And it seems like it's a couple of variations of the curveball. He was like unveiling a really slow curveball in this one, which is why its average velocity was down 2 miles per hour. So I like that he's trying to broaden the arsenal, because the only way Spencer Strider is going to get out of this is to really hit the lab and figure out why he's lost his fastball shape. That would be the preferable approach. But failing that, he's going to have to broaden his arsenal, so it's not just that slider, because the fastball doesn't bring much anymore. Ideally, both will happen, and he'll be great after that. But one or the other has to happen, or else it's just going to be a repeat of 2025 for Strider.
All right, well, it's about time for Fantasy Feud. Are you guys ready? Head to head.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, let's fire up a little game show music here, and people in the chat, let me know if it's too loud, too low, and I'll kind of monitor that. But here we go. Oh, that's really low. I don't know.
It's too low, Frank.
How's it sound now? Sound all right?
Sounds incredible.
All right.
Sounds like a Mario Kart song.
Yeah, I don't know. I just got some kind of generic game show music from somewhere. All right, here we go. Fantasy Feud. For those who are not aware, it's like the game Family Feud. So I've got 3 different questions or categories here. The first person to buzz in, you'll have an answer. You'll have a chance to answer. The other person will then get to answer as well, and we'll play it out from there. So let's do it. 9 players have gone 25-25 already this season.
Buzz.
Chris.
Pete Crow Armstrong.
Pete Crow Armstrong is second on the list. I think these are sorted by steals. Yeah, let's go with that. So, yes.
You should have let us know that before.
The number 2 answer is PCA. Scott, you have a chance to get the number 1 answer.
They're sorted by steals. I don't think he has more steals than Pete Crow Armstrong, but I'm going to say Corbin Carroll.
Corbin Carroll is on the list, but he is lower than PCA. So, Chris, it is your decision to pass or play this category.
So now the rule is, if I pass, Scott has to get every single one on the list.
No. If you pass, I get 3 strikes to potentially get the whole list. And if I run out of strikes, you get 1 shot to steal.
Right. Okay. So that's, I pass. You pass every time, right?
Okay.
All right.
Many would say.
Scott, you're up. There are already 2 answers off the board. Pete Crow Armstrong and Corbin Carroll. 9 players have gone 25-25 already this season.
Well, okay. Let's think about some of the others here. I'm going to say Jose Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez is the number 1 answer.
Yeah.
Sorted by steals. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
3 down.
That's Julio Rodriguez.
Julio Rodriguez is on the list. Let's keep it going.
Let's go with Francisco Lindor.
Francisco Lindor is on the list as well. He's closing in on 30-30.
Who else? Let's go with... Oh, now it's getting hard. I'm going to say... I think this is wrong. Nah, it's definitely wrong. James Wood.
James Wood is incorrect.
Doesn't have the home runs.
First strike. He doesn't have the
He
steals.
doesn't steals.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm also going to fact check myself throughout the course of this.
Obviously Juan Soto.
Juan Soto.
I had the same.
Correct.
I had the same. Like, oh right, yeah. Duh.
James Wood, 27 homers, 15 steals this season.
Only 15 steals. I didn't realize it was that low.
He has fallen off in the second half in a big way. But yes, Juan Soto is correct, Scott. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6
of 8
of the 9. So there are 3 names left, and you have 2 strikes left.
I think Jazz Chisholm has gotten there.
That is correct. He's closing in on 30-30 as well. 2 names left on the list. Can we get a sweep?
I don't think so.
Yeah, these last 2 are a little bit tougher. I mean, they can't be that tough, right? They've gone 25-25,
but they're tough. Let's say Kyle Tucker.
Kyle Tucker is incorrect. That is your second strike.
Chris is going to steal it. I know he's going to steal it. Can't let him steal it.
Kyle Tucker, by the way, 3 homers short. He does have the 25 steals, but only 22 home runs.
Oh, man. Who am I forgetting?
I've got a couple of names, but I don't know if they've gotten there.
Okay. Let's say... Christian Yelich.
Christian Yelich is incorrect. That is your third strike, and Chris, you are up.
I just need to get 1, right?
Just need 1. 1 of 2 names that are left.
All right, I've got 2 teammates, but I don't think one of them has the home runs, weirdly. So I'm going to go with Randy Arozarena.
Randy Arozarena for all the marbles is correct.
Every single marble. Josh Naylor does not have 25 homers, right? He does have like 28 steals.
I don't know if he has 25 of either. Randy Arozarena has 27 and 28. Josh Naylor
has 27 steals and 19 homers.
27 steals, my gosh. Yelich, by the way, had he cleared the home runs, but not the steals.
Yeah, I don't think Buxton has the steals.
28 homers for Yelich, 16 steals this season.
So who's the last one?
I don't want to hold on.
Is Chris? You have a guess?
Gunnar didn't get there, did he?
No, he doesn't have the homers or the steal. Well, he might have the steals.
Tatis.
No. He missed the first month of the season. The last name on the list missed the first month. Yeah.
The whole first month. Oh, Zach Neto.
Zach Neto.
Oh, Zach Neto. Yeah, that's a good one. Good call.
Yep.
Good
all
for
right.
Zach.
We'll talk about PCA in just a little bit. He had a huge game here, though. Hopefully he can finish strong, but it obviously has been a very rough second half here for Pete Crow Armstrong. All right, next up, do you guys want to go with strikeouts or whip? Because we're moving over to starting pitchers.
Let's do K's, baby.
All right, 6 pitchers have 200 strikeouts this season.
All right, I'll
Buzz.
Go. Uh-oh. That was kind of a tie.
With the way I say it.
I'll give it to Scott.
It's gonna which one? I'm gonna say Tarek Skubal.
Tarek Skubal is the number 2 answer. Chris, you have a chance to guess number 1.
Garrett Crochet.
Garrett Crochet is number 1. Pass or play? There are 4 names left on the list. 3 strikes. 6 pitchers with 200 or more strikeouts.
He's hesitating over pass or play.
I'm going to pass.
All right. Pass over to...
No, you know what? I'm going to play. I'm not going to be a coward.
Scott, I'll leave it up to you. What
he can play.
Right?
He can play. Go ahead.
Chris gets to play. All right. 6 pitchers with 200 plus strikeouts. Crochet and Skubal, the top 2 answers.
Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens is one of them.
Logan Webb is there, right? We talked about that, I think, last week.
Is that an official guess?
Logan Webb, yes.
Logan Webb is on the list. 2 names left.
I feel like there's someone obvious I'm forgetting. Is Carlos Rodon there?
Carlos Rodon is not. That is your first strike.
Okay, first strike. There will be more strikes coming. Don't worry, guys.
Carlos Rodon is up to 190 after today.
Okay. I would have thought he was a little higher than that. All right. Nobody on those teams. Nobody on that team. I'm just looking at a list of teams. I'm not cheating. I mean, that might be cheating. I don't know how you
It's not
define
cheating.
it.
You're fine. If you're cheating, then I'm cheating.
Yeah, this is surprisingly.
All right, Chris, we're going to need an answer here.
Surprisingly tough.
200
Framber
strikeouts.
Valdez.
Framber Valdez is incorrect.
Yeah, of course it is. That's a dumb guess.
All right, you have one strike left.
Man.
Scott, get your answer ready.
I think I got one.
Framber Valdez has 173.
Man, that's not even close. That's a bad guess. Man, I'm really sure because I'm fairly certain Zach Wheeler ended with like 190. He was really close. I'm gonna go with Mackenzie Gore.
Mackenzie Gore is incorrect.
That makes sense. I should have
Scott,
asked. That was dumb.
You have the chance to steal.
I think I got it.
All right.
Christopher Sanchez.
Christopher Sanchez for the steal and to keep the game alive is incorrect.
You picked the wrong Phillies lefty.
Really?
Oh, we talked about this last week. Yeah.
Christopher Sanchez is 192. The other two names that we were looking for, Dylan Cease and Jesus Luzardo.
I'm pretty sure we talked about this exact topic last week, and apparently none of us were paying attention.
All right, so Chris has officially won, but we'll play out the final round here. 7 pitchers have 30 saves this season.
Buzz.
Chris.
Carlos Estevez.
Carlos Estevez is the number one answer. Pass or play?
Oh, we're definitely passing. Come on. I don't want to talk about relievers.
Pass on to Scott. So 6 other names with 30 saves this season.
I just saw Jaron Duran got there, so let's knock that one out.
Do you mean Yohan Duran?
Yeah, that's the wrong answer.
Because you said Jaron Duran, which is
the
outfielder for the Red Sox.
Yeah. Do you want to give me an X for that?
No. He does have. He could have had 31, but he blew a save tonight. But he does have 30. So
okay, Yohan Duran, you're giving it to me. I appreciate that. Aroldis Chapman.
Aroldis Chapman does have 30s on the list.
I believe Jeff Hoffman has 30.
Jeff Hoffman is right at 30.
Robert
4 out of 7.
Suarez.
Robert Suarez is correct. There are 2 names left.
Oh yeah, I know.
No strikes.
Andres Munoz.
Yep, that's
Andres
one of them.
Munoz is the number 3 answer on the board.
Can I get the clean sweep? Can I get the clean
Oh,
sweep?
he's got to be there, right?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, I'm not trying to help. No, he's not. Okay, all right.
Oh, man. Now I'm blanking. Let's go. Raisel Iglesias.
Chris, don't look up how many saves people have. You still have a chance to sweep this if you.
Is he cheating?
Oh, I
legitimately
forgot about,
cheating?
Yeah, I was cheating now, yeah.
Raisel Iglesias was
Raisel Iglesias is incorrect. That is your first strike.
Did Trevor McGill get there?
Trevor McGill is correct.
That was going to be my guess, and I checked to make sure.
All right.
Saving face.
The 7 pitchers with 30 saves: Carlos Estevez, Robert Suarez, Andres Munoz, Aroldis Chapman, Jeff Hoffman, Trevor McGill, and Yohan Duran.
It was not a great season for taking closers early in fantasy drafts.
I mean, Josh Hader was great until he got hurt.
Yeah.
Edwin Diaz has had a good season.
Edwin Diaz has been good. It's just only weirdly 26 saves.
Devin Williams. Nope.
Yeah.
Not so much. So, but yeah,
And
I'm
Emmanuel
surprised we already have.
And Mason Miller was,
Yeah.
arguably the best closer in baseball before he got traded.
All right, so that was Fantasy Feud. Congrats, Chris. You took it home. You are the champion.
Woo!
You don't always lose. Let the record show.
Let's
Chris doesn't always lose.
Literally not always.
Let's wrap up here with some leftovers, some big games from big name hitters. PCA 2 for 4 with a sock and a shoe. His 29th homer, his 35th steal. Matt Olson, a huge game, 4 for 5 with 2 doubles, his 26th homer and 4 RBI. He has homered in 3 straight, and he's having a massive September. Ronald Acuna, his 17th home run, but seems like that calf injury has kind of derailed him in 28 games since returning. A .212 batting average with 3 homers, 2 steals, and an OPS under 700 for Ronald Acuna. Mookie Betts hit another home run. He had 3 RBI as well. Last 36 games, 354, 8 homers, 29 runs, 30 RBI, and OPS over 1,000 for Mookie Betts. Kyle Schwarber hit his 53rd home run. Bryce Harper had himself a sock in the shoe. So that is his 27th homer and 12th steal. And not a big name, but a big game for Andy Pajes, who went 3 for 4 with his 25th home run, a game-tying home run off of Yohan Duran in the 9th inning. Lots of names here. I think some interesting discussion points like PCA big game. Acuna has really slowed down since returning. Does that affect his draft stock for next year?
I think he's still a first rounder personally. I haven't done it yet, but I have a hard time imagining I wouldn't put him in the first round.
Who was that?
Ronald Acuna.
Yeah, so it was like I said, I ranked the top 24, and he might have been the toughest one to place. I was trying to guard against ranking him too low because I feel like I'd be more inclined to do that than rank him too high. And I got him 6th in Roto and actually 5th in points, with Bobby Witt being the one who drops behind him in points.
Yeah, that sounds perfectly reasonable to me. Yeah, we don't know what kind of base stealer he's going to be. I think it's only, 6 this season. I would anticipate it's higher than that next season, but it's certainly not going to be 70 again. I would guess, I think we were talking about it last week, put the over-under for both him and Juan Soto at 19.5. I really don't know which way I'd go on either of them.
His sprint speed, Ronald Acuna's sprint speed hasn't dropped at all this year. So that's encouraging. And remember, it was his first full year after the last ACL surgery when he did have the 74 steals, I believe it was. So, it's riskier than I'd like in the first round. And if I'm on an island ranking him that high, then I will get off that island. But as it stands now, I'm thinking mid-first round.
And even for as bad as he's been for the past, month or so, whatever it is, it's still basically like a 35 homer, 120 run. The RBI are low, but I would expect that to be better next season, even if he's hitting leadoff. Still just a super impactful player. I still think he's one of the 5 best hitters in baseball, even if he doesn't steal bases.
Scott, did PCA make it into your top 2 rounds for next season?
I thought he was going to, but then I added the pitchers at the end, and he ended up being 26th for Roto for me.
I do think the first basemen that you mentioned are interesting, and I did my kind of first look at first base rankings as well for next season, and the number 1 spot's going to be interesting. I imagine everyone's going to go with Nick Kurtz. Maybe I will go that way as well, but I haven't finalized that yet. But then, Matt Olson, it would be nice if he turned his season around in June rather than September 2 years in a row.
3 years in a row. His last 3 Septembers have been amazing.
And I'm thinking he's not a top 40 pick. Probably a top 50, but I'm not sure yet. And then Harper might be my number 5 first baseman for next year. Yeah. I just don't know how to handle his age. Obviously, Pete Alonso's a free agent. Rafael Devers
is a pure first baseman now for fantasy.
Just first baseman. I think I'm going to rank those 3, Alonso, Devers, Harper, with Freeman 6th. But I think that's a tier that you could go in any order.
And Olsen ahead of Freeman?
No, Olsen behind Freeman.
Oh, okay. Because Olsen's going to end up hitting about 280 unless these last 2 weeks go horribly. So he's going to end up a plus in batting
That's
average.
Surprising, yeah.
Probably about 30 homers, close to 100 runs in RBI. It felt underwhelming as it was playing out, but the numbers are going to be there at the end for Matt Olson, it looks like. Though I only have 2 first basemen in my top 24.
Yeah, I think there's only I would only put Kurtz and Guerrero.
Yeah, Kurtz 1 and Guerrero 2. And Roto, I actually have Guerrero over Kurtz in points since there's a huge difference in strikeout rate.
And we're going to have all offseason to litigate Nick Kurtz's value and the Kurtz versus Guerrero. So I don't want to get into that too much. I will just say, as amazing as he's been, it's only 105 games so far. Vladimir Guerrero has also had very good 105 game stretches, including I think his last 105 games are like very close to what Nick Kurtz did in this stretch. So it's not the slam dunk that I think some people are going to make it out to be.
Some pitching leftovers here. Kyle Bradish was effectively wild at the White Sox. 5 innings, 1 run, 9 strikeouts, but also had 4 walks in that game. He gets the Yankees later this week, and then he's at the Yankees the final week as well. Carlos Rodon, a quality start at the Twins, 6 innings of 2-run ball with 4 strikeouts. And Ranger Suarez turned in a quality start at the Dodgers. Over his last 6 starts, a 147 ERA, 106 whip, 44 strikeouts over 36 2/3 innings for Ranger Suarez. Anything to add on him, Rodon, or Kyle Bradish?
I remain extremely impressed by Kyle Bradish. Not surprised that the command's been a little iffy at times, but the stuff has looked awesome. We expect the command to be better in year 2 back from Tommy John surgery. There's a chance I'll rank him as a top 24 starting pitcher for next year. I'm really, really excited about Kyle Bradish.
All right, the call to the bullpen for the Cubs. Porter Hodge started the 9th inning with a 4-run lead. He recorded 2 outs, but allowed 3 base runners. Brad Keller came on to get the final out and picked up his 2nd save. Of course, one day after we told everybody it was Andrew Kittredge, but Kittredge pitched Friday and Sunday, so I'm guessing they just didn't want to use him for a 3rd time in 4 days. For the Astros, Brian Abreu got the 9th with a 3-run lead. He allowed 3 base runners, but picked up his 6th save. And for the Phillies, Yohan Duran got the 9th with a 1-run lead. He allowed a game-tying homer to Andy Pages, but the Phillies did wind up winning that game in 10 innings, and it was David Robertson who closed it out and picked up his 1st save of the season. To stream or not to stream on Tuesday, we have Zebby Matthews up against the Yankees, Joey Cantillo at the Tigers, Jeffrey Springs at the Red Sox, Connolly early against the Athletics, Shane Smith against the Orioles, Dean Kramer at the White Sox, Michael McGreevy home against the Reds, and Eduardo Rodriguez home against the Giants.
Let's see. We were fine with Shane Smith and Joey Cantillo yesterday when we were talking about Tuesday's matchups, but I think I'd slot Connolly early ahead of both of them.
He'd be my top choice. I don't love anybody else here.
Yeah, early at the top, and then I think Shane Smith and Cantillo. I would agree with that. On Wednesday, we have Johan Oviedo home against the Cubs, Tyler Wells at the White Sox, Justin Verlander at the D-backs, Ian Seymour home against the Blue Jays, Christian Javier home against the Rangers, and Ryan Weathers at the Rockies in Coors Field.
Wells at the White Sox. That's the pick. That is better than anybody on Tuesday. Either, I would say.
I think him and Christian Javier are both equally mildly interesting, I would say.
Mm-hmm. I like Seymour and the skills that he's shown so far, but Blue Jays are just a pesky matchup. Verlander's been pitching really well too, but at the D-backs, it's kind of a tough spot too. So I'll go Wells at the top, and then probably Javier and Verlander. That's for Wednesday. And let's wrap up with some Team Name Tuesday. We just got a bunch from an emailer named Matthew. He sends us a bunch of team names every week, so thank you. We do appreciate it. Here we go. Yakety Yakis, don't talk Bacchus.
Yep.
I'll pick up Nabil for lunch.
Nabil for lunch.
I guess I'll pick up the bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Beaks and Maileys. I guess that's Luke Maley. Males? Beaks and males?
Not Matthew's best work here.
Yeah. If I have too much to drink tonight, I'll be ill tomorrow.
That's pretty good.
Little Red Rortfit.
That's good. That's solid. Yeah.
Murder She Sprout.
He just needed to get on a roll. It's like in the home run derby. You just need to see one go over.
Yeah. Who's the boss?
Yep.
Freaks and Beaks.
Excellent.
Speaking of Tony Danza, who's the boss? We want to talk about Mel Clark again?
I'm sure you have a bunch of thoughts to get.
I mean, that got really, it did get a little dark really quickly. I apologize for that.
Like, I just don't think they thought it through. Like,
well, it just like, I feel like that was just like you got to put in something super treacly. Because like in a children's movie,
that happens before he has the big moment at the end of the game. You know, he's thrown his 156 pitches. He catches the line drive. It makes a diving catch on the line drive.
Blows out his shoulder.
The ball bounces out of the glove. He grabs it with his bare hand, pushes it back in the glove. But the whole time that's happening, you're not thinking, wow, great play, great season. You're thinking, oh no, Mel Clark's not going to be alive more than 6 months from now. And so, like, all the enthusiasm is gone. Just what were they thinking?
Perfect Stromgers.
Yeah,
that's all right. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yep.
Bohm Unity.
Very good.
Modern Frambly.
Yep.
Gosh. And Ugly Fetty.
That's very good.
I like that. Yeah, that's good.
These last ones are BC Boys themed. They're also from Matthew. So Waka 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 wants.
Yeah.
No Sleep Till Brooks Lee.
Sure.
Sabotage.
Yes.
Boz Monkey.
Yeah.
Minter Galactic Stanek Terry. Stanek Terry Minter Galactic.
Anytime you can get Ryan Stanek in there, you got to, I think.
All right, we're going to wrap there. For Scott and Chris, I am Frank. Thanks as always for tuning into Fantasy Baseball today. Please make sure to follow and leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify, and we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.